the DOJ is moving to unseal this search warrant. And it was all about retrieving these documents for National Archives. Okay? But apparently, like for instance, one of the documents that they had said apparently was critical, and this was when they went and got, this was the stuff that they got the first time around. So when they visited him at the beginning of the year, and they met, and that's when Trump walked in and said, any way we can help, you let us know. Apparently one was a cocktail napkin. Do you know that? Cocktail napkin. And like some letters and stuff like that. They got 15 boxes of documents that they already retrieved last winter. And then again in spring. Now, Matt Vespa has more on how President Bill Clinton actually accidentally left the authorization card for our nuclear codes in his suit pocket that was taken for dry cleaning during his presidency. You guys didn't know this, did you? This is from ABC. Oh, yeah, that happened. It absolutely happened. And they said one of the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss its details says agents were conducting a court-authorized search. They were looking at documents for Trump, blah, blah, blah. And then compare this to Clinton losing the actual codes. And here's the thing. There are a number of different guys who served in the Clinton administration who all wrote books after they left, and they all have this story in their books. Did you know that? Buzz Patterson was one of them. Hugh Shelton was another. General Hugh Shelton, he served as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. His book, Without Hesitation, he is retelling a story that other people who served in Clinton's administration have already told. So everything's corroborated. The way they said it is that he lost the biscuit in 1999, and he left it in his suit pocket. Dude, now I want you to think: was he raided later or any time? Was Hillary Clinton raided or any? No. So the government decides, you know what? Let's accuse him, and by the government I mean Democrats. They decide to make up. I'm assuming because it's so fantastical. You're telling me they lost classified nuclear documents? They lost them? For 18 months they had no idea where they were? Are you kidding me? And apparently Trump didn't know? Are you kidding me? And Kane, if you're a terrorist, I'm just going to, if you're a terrorist and you're listening to all of this from the government, I mean, you might think it's a fine time to act on that stuff right now, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez. It's pretty crazy. All of these, none of this adds up. They have a lot of stuff that they need to explain, because if they can't justify this is one of the biggest screw ups in modern political history. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, you had the New York Times said that maybe it was a delayed returning of 15 boxes of material. You're going to issue a warrant over a delayed returning? Then that's... See, I still think that this is a fishing expedition, and that all they were doing was they wanted to go in and see what else they could get on the guise of National Archive documents. That's what it is. Anything actionable on January 6th. And they've come up empty-handed time and time again after all their theatrics, but they have to flex and show their insanely irrational base that they're still on the case, whatever the hell the case is now. Whatever it is now. They're still on it. Garland, his whole point of going out there and doing this woe is me presser, he wanted to try to flip the script, because so far the script has the story where Trump is surging in the polls. And he's surging in the polls because he is the perpetual outsider fighting the establishment, fighting the deep state. And this just cements that in the minds of voters. And for those who were previously unpersuaded, they definitely are now thinking about it if they're not convinced already. And so Garland, this was damage control done too late. He goes out there and tries to make it, oh, woe is me, woe is my department, we're the victims. But there's no justifying what he did. And there are people on the left questioning it. I mean, the people who are smart enough to see how this could be reversed against them. Here the FBI thought they're going to pull off a raid while Trump was out of town and beat him to the punch in the press. And they didn't think that that was going to blow up in their face. CNN, this is what they did. I shared this with you last night. This is how they were trying to spin this. Listen to this flex. Quote, "This is a remarkable and unusual move. We essentially saw Merrick Garland call Donald Trump's bluff." I'm sorry, what? Asking the court to, and this was, they said, because Merrick Garland asked the court to unseal the warrant. That's the least they could do to clarify this mess. That's a stupid take. But have you noticed this? This was all nothing more than a pretext to look for a bunch of other stuff. This is not an own. I love how these people try to set up every single scenario. Well, Trump should release the warrant if he's got nothing to fear, except he doesn't have the warrant and the affidavit doesn't give any reasons and he can't unseal the warrant. That takes a court order to do so. I mean, this aid ray, Pig Latin was supposed to be kept on the down low. But no, they demanded time is of the essence. We got to get in there. We got to get to these documents before Trump destroyed them. Well, then their whole plan of trying to get in, of going in there when he was out of town to beat him to the punch in the press completely undermines that excuse. Do you see how they step all over their own logic and explanations? If they thought he was going to destroy them, why did they wait 18 months? Oh, well, it's not that anymore. Now it's because it's nuclear documents. Did you see how this, first it went from National Archive material, like the dorks that are like the glorified federal librarians at National Archives. I don't mean to say dorks. It's not so much a pejorative, but for the love. First it was that. Then it was, they were worried Trump was going to destroy him. But we waited 18 months. And then now it was because we lost all this nuclear information. He's got nukes in Florida. That's what it is. Hey, did Dick Cheney tell them that that's where the weapons of mass destruction are?